Today is Juneteenth, a holiday celebrated by people across the US, and one that's only just been approved as an official national holiday, with both Democrats and Republicans backing the move. So what actually is Juneteenth, and why is it a national holiday? Well, let's explain that right now. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation of the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. That's the declaration made by Union soldiers in Galveston, Texas, back in 1865, freeing about 250,000 black people in the state. This wasn't the first time the declaration was made. In fact, Texas was one of the last states to actually abolish slavery, with the Emancipation Proclamation coming nearly 2.5 years earlier, and the Civil War ending nearly a month earlier. The delay between the proclamation from Abraham Lincoln and the message delivered in Galveston was partly due to the fact that Texas didn't surrender until June 2nd, and also just due to the practicalities of the era. It simply took time for Union forces to enforce the law across the South. So why is this date significant if the Emancipation Proclamation was made a couple of years earlier and Texas was relatively late to release slaves? Well, Galveston was the first stop in Texas before the Union forces continued on, spending about 6 weeks crossing the state, declaring all slaves free. As such, many in Texas began to celebrate June 19th as Juneteenth, the date that slaves were first freed in the state. Initially, these celebrations were scattered and focused across Texas, but over time, as freed black people left the South, they took the tradition with them, spreading it across the US. This didn't help them officially make the celebration a holiday though, with Texas being the first state to recognize it as an official holiday in 1980. Since then, nearly every state has followed suit, sanctioning an official celebration. However, it wasn't a federal holiday. People may celebrate it and states may individually recognize it as a holiday, but again, it was not a federal holiday. And that's what legislators have this week voted to change. As Democratic Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney stated, our federal holidays are purposely few in number and recognize the most important milestones. I cannot think of a more important milestone to commemorate than the end of slavery in the United States. There were, however, 2 reasons why representatives either opposed or previously opposed this new national holiday. The first was related to the name of the holiday, set to be referred to as Juneteenth National Independence Day. Republican Congressman Clay Higgins, who we should point out ended up voting for the bill, asked why Democrats wanted to politicize this by co-opting the name of our sacred holiday of Independence Day. This was met with resistance from the Democrats, with Brenda Lawrence saying, "I want to say to my white colleagues on the other side, getting your independence from being enslaved is different from a country getting independence to rule themselves." The second criticism, though, relates to cost, with some claiming that the holiday would cost $600 million a year, primarily from lost productivity. While these 2 reasons could have hindered the bill, in the end they didn't. There was, though, one reason that some legislators cited when explaining why they didn't back the bill: identity politics. Matt Rosendale of Montana claimed that since I believe in treating everyone equally, regardless of race, and that we should be focused on what unites us rather than our differences, I will vote no. Nonetheless, this clearly wasn't a widely held opinion, with only 14 people voting against it anyway, and the vast majority of representatives backing the holiday and turning it into an official national holiday, allowing people to fully celebrate this undeniably significant date.
This is a day of profound, in my view, profound weight and profound power. By making Juneteenth a federal holiday, all Americans can feel the power of this day and learn from our history, and celebrate progress and grapple with the distance we've come, but the distance we have to travel. I've only been president for several months, but I think this will go down for me as one of the greatest honors I will have had as president, not because I did it, you did it. Democrats and Republicans.
What do you think though? Let us know your thoughts about the changes and the holiday in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified every time we release a new video. Special thanks to our Patreon backers who make videos like this one possible. And if you want to see your name at the end of videos, then you too can back us on Patreon. The link to that is in the description.